Hi everybody. Welcome back to this channel. Um Once again, I have been gone for a month now. Maybe even like a little bit more than a month. But I did say that we're going to finish off the series, right? But it's not how I thought it was going to be, because I thought I was just going to do like, Mars and Capricorn for Capricorn season, and then Mars and Aquarius for Aquarius season, and then Mars and Pisces for Pisces season. But rest assured that I will be finishing with this Mars series this week within Aquarius season, way before we get into Pisces season. Because there's a whole bunch of changes. I'm not even going to be in this house during Pisces season. Anyway, but I'm back with Mars and fucking Capricorn, guys. This video, Mars and Capricorn, as it is written in the title. Also, we just got out of a very hectic Mercury retrograde and Mars retrograde, and I'm a Virgo Sun, Gemini Moon, right? With a whole bunch of Virgo and Gemini placements, so I'm very mercurial. And I've noticed that like during Mercury retrogrades, or like any planet retrograding in Gemini or Virgo, it distorts my entire sense of reality, and my brain, it's in Costa Rica. Anyway, but I'm back, guys. With this video, Mars and flipping Capricorn, and obviously there's changes because my thing broke. Well, this didn't break, but the ring light detached itself to this, and I have another one, but it also just doesn't work. And I was like heavily considering, let me just not do this. Like, let me just wait until I have a new ring light, but that's gonna take too long. So you know what? This is the new angle, guys. I had to figure out so many different angles to shoot this, and I was like, you know what? This is fine. It's level. What? You can see me. The lights are kind of flickering. It's just so many things that like were making me like think, let me just redo this another time. But I've been procrastinating this video for so long, so let me just finish this series so we can all move on with our lives, and I can move on to the next motherfucking series. Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, before we begin with Mars and Capricorn, please go check out my Instagram, because I am active there, even though I have not been so active as of late. Check out I have a yoga channel now. I do yoga, so please go follow that. It's over here. This is the link. Well, this is the channel on YouTube, and then also go follow the Instagram for that one. If you want to go check out my TikTok, my TikTok for astrology, that's also active, so go check that out too, period. And that's about it. Now that we've done that, now that we've finished with that, Mars and Capricorn, right? So this is the exaltation of Mars. Mars loves to be here. This is Mars' favorite place. Like, this is Mars's favorite human. If Capricorn was a person, and if Mars was a person, Mars just, oh my god, Mars loves Capricorn so much. Just Mars and Capricorn have like this mutual admiration for each other, you know what I'm saying? But I think more so Mars, because Capricorn knows how to make Mars useful. Do you know what I'm saying? So what is Mars though? As I always say, which if you've been watching this whole Mars series, you know that Mars is your fuel. Mars gives you the intention. Mars energy is it helps you with your actions, because we all have intentions. As I always make the example, if you're hungry, you're gonna go make a sandwich or rice, whatever, right? Because the intention is to fill your desire, because Mars also rules desires. Right, so you'll have a desire to not be hungry, so then you're gonna do something about your hunger, right? So you're gonna go make a sandwich. You're gonna passionately make a sandwich, and depending on whatever sign you have Mars in will determine how your passion is expressed. You know what I'm saying? Because like everybody has their own different way of expressing passion, and different paces of passion, and different, I guess, volumes and intensity of passion. Do you know what I'm saying? But Mars is essentially what fuels you, what motivates you. kind of what makes you get up in the morning. Like I will say Mars is also the will to live, like the will to do things. Jupiter is more so like the reason, like what's your life purpose, like the broader picture of why are you alive, what is your life's goal, accomplishment. And then you'll go into the higher purpose of, oh, I believe that I need to give my talents to the world and blah 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 blah. But then Mars is like, okay, like Mars is the energy that's helping you get to all these destinations, helping you get to all these goals, you know what I'm saying, helping you do ABCDEFG. Because if you didn't have passion, like just think of the times you don't feel like doing anything, like you just don't have the intention, the passion, the willpower to do anything. Like that's when your Mars is debilitated. But a lot of the times Aries, Scorpios and Capricorns are the first ones to tell you that they don't usually experience not wanting to do something. You know, you'll probably hear a Taurus or Libra or Cancer just be like, I don't feel like. Actually, no, I'm lying, because I know Aries be lazy sometimes. A lot of even Capricorns, but I feel like in Mars, like Aries, Mars, Scorpio, Mars, Capricorn, Mars people with those placements, those are the people that you'll never hear them say that. But people who have like Libra Mars, Taurus Mars, Cancer Mars, even Pisces Mars, you'll hear them be like, I don't feel like it. I don't, because they have a debilitated Mars. Even though Pisces, Mars isn't necessarily debilitated in Pisces. It's just because Pisces has Jupiter and Neptune is so sleepy and foggy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we'll get to that one. You know, that'll be the last video I make until we end this chat. Because Mars is the thing that fuels you. You know, Mars is the thing that makes you want to do things and accomplish things and like give out the go for things, and you know, like this obligation that you have. Like Mars is the thing that makes you feel like, yeah, you have to do this, like you need to do this, otherwise you're a pussy. Mars energy is aggressive, you know what I'm saying, but it also has to do with our desires, and desires can be small and large, you know. The desire to win, the desire to success, the desire to sexual desires too, the desire to get revenge, because Mars, you know what I'm saying, Mars is about that. The desire to defend yourself and be an individual. And usually desires are personal, which is why a lot of Scorpios, Aries, and Capricorns are more selfish, because they think about themselves first a lot of the times. You know, it's easy for them to make personal decisions and not be considerate. They have issues with consideration of other people, because Mars isn't the energy of consideration, and neither is Pluto, which is why Scorpios. But with Scorpio, it's a different thing, because they have water, so they know how to. But it's a different chat, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like Mars energy, especially in Capricorn. But also Capricorn has Saturn, so that's why they stingy. Yes. But anyway, my point is, right, with Mars, it's all about like your personal desires, you know what I'm saying? Because Mars rules the first house. First house is about your personality, the relationship that you have with yourself. And then it also rules the 8th house. 8th house is your secret personal desires. It's everything in the first house, but more personal, like more hidden. Whereas the first house is not so hidden. You don't mind people seeing these things about you. Your first house. You don't mind people seeing your personality. You don't mind people seeing what you're personally interested in. You don't mind people seeing your personal goals. But with the 8th house, you don't want people to see the hidden desires that you have. You don't want people to see some of the personal goals that you have. You don't want, because it's more personal. It's a water house, you know what I'm saying? So that's the little difference between the 8th house and the first house. But going on, moving to Mars itself, really, as I said, it's just a personal thing, like what you personally want for yourself, without considering how other people are going to affect you. You know what I'm saying? And then if those people do affect you, then what do? You get aggressive, and then you start to defend yourself, because Mars energy is also about self-defense, fighting, war. You know, Mars is the god of war. Mars is annoying. As I have Libra placements, I cannot stand Mars energy. I just can't. I need to learn from it, and I'm attracted to it. But oh my god, I just like the selfishness. But also me, like I know with Mars energy, like Mars energy doesn't like Venus energy, in the sense of like, oh my god, why are you always considering everybody else, dude? Like, why can't you always think about yourself? You know what I'm saying? But it's like that little opposition thing, you know. But Mars energy to the T, it's about, you know, how you preserve your own personality. I mean, your personal desires. It's about your desires, how you get to your desires, your sexual language, your sex language, but also your anger language. You know, how you are when you're angry, how you are when you're upset, and what you do in those moments where you are angry and upset. But also it also rules over what Mars. Yeah, anger language. Sexual language, I did say that. What else? Yeah, and that's about it. And then we have Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the 10th house of your career, your reputation, your status, right? Your long-term goals, things that you want to accomplish, and things that you want to sustain for a long time, for a long period of time, right? And then it also rules, it's ruled by Saturn. Now Saturn is the planet of what? Restrictions, boundaries, things that you have to do in order to sustain your life for a longer period of time, so a lot of the times with sustenance, it also makes you realize that you have to learn discipline, because you can't sustain things if you don't have discipline. So Saturn rules over discipline. It rules over restricting yourself or having boundaries, self boundaries, or boundaries with everybody else. And that's why it has the rings, because it's protecting itself from the bullshit, period. But like Saturn really just, it deals with like stability, but long-term stability as well, and what you use, the tools that you have in order to gain stability for a long time, and those hard lessons that you have to learn about discipline, about self-restriction, about self-discipline, about self-preservation, preserving the things that you have in order to sustain yourself for this lifetime. Because Jupiter, when we get to Sagittarius and Pisces, that's when we can say, oh, we're here for a good time, not a long time, and we can be as reckless and careless as we want, and we can have everything come easy to us, low-key, and things is jolly because Jupiter's blessing us, and whatever we touch, things will grow. But when we get to Capricorn and Aquarius, we learn that, okay, we're actually here for a long time, not a good time. So while we're here, let's make sure that we have all the resources that we have in order to sustain ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? That's Saturn energy. It's also low-key selfish. But Mars and fucking Saturn and Pluto are all malefic planets. Malefic meaning that they're not very beneficial because they give us a lot of fucking hardships. But if your Saturn and your Mars are in like really good positions, like in Aries, Scorpio, or in the first house or the 8th house, then it'll be a lot better, because then you'll know how to be selfish in the area of life that you should be selfish in. But if it's in like the 7th house, or like the 4th house, the 12th house, like if Mars is in your second house, you know what I'm saying? Like it gets tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because then you become selfish in areas where you're supposed to be considerate, you're supposed to be blah blah blah. Even if it's in the 5th, Mars in the 5th house, it just makes you aggressively fun. Like, anyway, but we're not talking about that right now, right? But that's Saturn, right? It's ruled by Saturn, the 10th house, and it's a cardinal Earth sign. Earth meaning practical. So Saturn is already dealing with practicality and the reality of shit. Let's see the reality of things. What is this like? And also time. Let me mention that Saturn rules over time. We're in Earth right now. Earth is Taurus vibes. So that's already, boom, Earth number 1, right? It's very practical. And then obviously Earth, Taurus, it has its trine with Saturn, which is why like structures and authority and the government, like they're more acceptable things in the world that we all accept as a society, because it's trining the Earth. Earth is ruled by Taurus, Capricorn, Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Mercury retrograde. Mercury affects us also, but it's just a whole bunch of things, guys. And also the sextile with the moon, and the moon controlling our emotions, and you know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of things, but more so speaking with like Saturn and how it rules time, and like the management of time and using your time effectively, using the time that you have on this earth only for things that matter, only for things that provide you with stability. You know what I'm saying? And the security, aka the trine with Taurus, the security and the possessions that you have that provide you with more possessions. Saturn usually teaches you discipline so that you don't overdo things and then overuse your assets, aka your second house, so that you can also sustain yourself on a daily basis. 6th house, Virgo vibes, for a long time. 10th house, Saturn type vibes. You know what I'm saying? You get me? Are we feeling each other right now? So that's that. So when we put those things together, when you put Mars and Capricorn together, this is somebody who's passionate about getting to their goals. This is somebody who's passionate about working towards their long-term goals. Somebody who gets angry when they don't accomplish their long-term goals. Somebody who takes their long-term goals seriously, and then they get angry at themselves because they also have that square with the first house, but they get angry at themselves when they don't see their goals come, especially when a lot of the times when Mars and Capricorn people don't have goals, this is when they're most self-destructive. You know what I'm saying? And Mars rules over destruction as well. But with Mars and Capricorn, you become passionate. You become super passionate and super ambitious, because this is the exaltation of Mars. And what I was saying in the beginning of the video about how Mars and Capricorn really fuck with each other is because Capricorn knows how to use the passion and the conviction and the willpower of Mars to get to its goals. You know what I'm saying? It knows how to use all that Mars energy for a purpose, and the purpose would be to accomplish its long-term goals. So just imagine whatever goals you have, like even small goals, like let's say you want to be whatever it is that you want to be. Mars and Capricorn is gonna use that energy. Because Mars also rules energy. They're gonna use, and also because Saturn rules over like restriction. Mars and Capricorn people will restrict themselves from like fifth house type shit, fun, enjoyment, dating, just to accomplish their goals. So they'll have that discipline too, because of that Saturn aspect too. They'll have that discipline to only focus their Mars energy on accomplishing a goal, using their time, Saturn, their time, their efforts, preserving their energy, preserving their or even disciplining themselves, aka sacrificing, having fun, sacrificing even their relationships, their friendships, aka the third house, the fifth house. They'll sacrifice certain pleasures, whatever, just to accomplish their goals. And this is what you're meant to do. Anyone who has a Mars and Capricorn, low-key, I'm jealous of you, because you know how to get to wherever you need to get to and be so determined. Because you guys, just like Scorpios, you have determination and you're dedicated. You guys have that same stubborn quality as Taurus. But the only thing that would be difference between you and Taurus is that like a Taurus will take breaks. But Capricorns, like, they can't even, like a Capricorn, Mars and Capricorn people, I would even say Capricorn moon people, they don't know how to, like, they'll feel uncomfortable having fun knowing that they could be doing something important. Like, the difference between Gemini, like a Gemini Mars and a Capricorn Mars, is that a Gemini Mars, they can multitask, you know what I'm saying, and they can do 10 things at once. But a Mars and Capricorn person can't do that. They have to focus on one thing at a time. But that's where you're better than a Mars and Gemini, is because a Mars and Gemini, yes, they can do 10 things at once, but I bet you it's been a year and they still haven't finished any of that. But a Mars and Capricorn, where they excel at is they have like laser point focus, sharp eyes, where they have a goal and they'll execute that goal. So they know how to do something one thing at a time. Once that, obviously it depends, like if you're Mars and Capricorn and you have like a Gemini rising or a Gemini moon, that'll be different. Maybe you can multitask and then you're dedicated to each and every task, but it won't be too many. Like, I feel like you'll have the discipline to maybe like only give yourself 3 tasks to complete, and you'll do them all really, really well. You know what I'm saying? But even saying that, like Gemini people, sometimes if they have like Taurus placements, Gemini moons or Gemini whatever, Mercury's, if they have some Taurus placements, they could possibly like multitask. And even though they'll be scattered, like they'll be stubborn enough to stick on all of these different endeavors that they have and then execute them all one by one. Well, not one by one, but they execute them whenever, and they'll do it properly because they'll have enough ideas to know, be like, okay, I should probably do it like that. I should probably tweak it like that, fix it like this, and then that'll be the final goal, just because they have that fixed quality. Also, I would say if they have like maybe some Cancer, like a Gemini, Cancer, Taurus mix. Delicious. So delicious. But Mars and Capricorn, people with Capricorn placements, like they would have to do something one thing at a time. Give all their attention to one project. If they're washing dishes, they're washing dishes. It's not like they're gonna wash dishes and also do laundry. They're gonna plan out, because that's another thing that you guys also share with Mars and Virgos, twinsies, is that you'll be passionate about like your goals, right? You'll be passionate about writing lists down, especially if you have a Mars in Capricorn and you have like a Virgo rising or a Virgo moon. I'm not. Yes, you're a bit crazy. No, you're a lot crazy, and you get irritated very quickly. Mars and Capricorn people get annoyed. They get irritated. I wouldn't say they get angry, even though they probably can get psycho angry, especially when their goals are not happening, or when they're, because listen, it's a cardinal sign, right? Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Cardinal meaning initiating new ways of how to do earthy things, Capricorn shit. So practicalizing, initiating a plan. So Capricorns are like planners, just kind of like Leos, also Taurus is low-key. So they know how to plan things out. And what I was saying is that the thing that you and Virgo have in common is that you guys like planning. You like, we what am I saying, we like planning things out. We like having a paper and a pen and being like, okay, today I'm gonna do this, and it feels good to be like, yeah, I did that, check. Yeah, I did that, check. Yeah, I did that, check. But if you don't do that as a Mars and Capricorn, you'll kind of feel disappointed in yourself, you know. And depending on the type of person that you are, depending on who you were raised by, because I know some of you guys, and especially if you have like a moon in Capricorn conjunct your Mars in Capricorn, you're probably raised by a very strict but mean mom. I'm so sorry. Hold my hand, baby. You know, a really strict, mean mom. If you have this also, like, if you have like a moon in Capricorn conjunct your Mars conjunct your Lilith in Capricorn, I already know you probably felt like your mom hated you, and you know what? Maybe she might have. Maybe she might have. I'm so sorry. But now it reflects in you, right? But this is just now speaking if you just have like a moon in Capricorn conjunct Mars in Capricorn, or even moon in Taurus, moon in Virgo trining your moon in your Mars in Capricorn, and then your mom was very like fussy about small things, and you doing your homework and, you know, being the proper child that she organized you and planned for you to be before you were born. Because I know Earth moon parents, if your parents had an Earth moon, trust and believe they had a plan for you. They had a plan about how they wanted you to be before you were even born that you didn't know. And if you didn't do everything that they wanted you to do and be the exact person that they had imagined you to be, they probably like they projected their own inner hatred onto you. So now you as a Mars and Capricorn, Loki can do that, project that onto other people too. So you get angry and fussy when people don't stick with the plan. You get angry and fussy when people don't stick with your particular plan. If you want this specific itinerary to happen and it doesn't happen, you get furious. And Mars in Capricorn anger can be just as volatile as Mars in Scorpio or Mars in Cancer. Period. In fact, Mars in Cancer, because Mars in Cancers are psychos. Fucking psychos, bro. What the fuck? But that's just my air sign judging, or and fire signs, honestly. Even Mars and Leo, no lie. Mars and Leo, but I feel like with Mars and Leo, it can be different. But I feel like Mars and Leo, like what you and Mars and Leo have in common is that you just, when you're not in control, even Mars and Scorpio, like when you are in control, it just makes you so uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable because it's in Mars now, it just makes you angry too. So if you're not in control of the situation, it makes you physically, because it's also an earth sign, it makes you physically uncomfortable, which makes you feel angry. And there's two options. You have those Mars and Capricorn people that'll just restrict themselves from reacting to the situation. Once again, it depends, because if you have your moon in Capricorn conjuncting your Mars in Capricorn, then it's going to be difficult for you to hide it, especially if you have like a Scorpio sun. Oh damn. Oh damn. Ooh, I would not want to date you, no lie, respectfully though. But if you have like a Scorpio sun, or even like a Scorpio like Venus or Scorpio rising, yeah, but then your moon will be in your Mars will be in your third house, and then that would make you someone who, the way you speak, you very disrespectful. But we'll get there. We're gonna get there. now. It's what, 27 minutes. We're gonna get there now. But my point is, right, is if you have your moon conjunct your Mars in Capricorn, then it's gonna physically hurt you to not have things happen properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna physically make you uncomfortable to not be in control of the situation, and then it's gonna make you react, because obviously it's a moon there. But if it's just Mars, like if you have whatever kind of moon, even if you have an Aries moon, no lie, if you have an Aries moon, it's gonna square your Mars. Now this is gonna make you just as intense and just as hectic as somebody who would have their moon in Capricorn conjunct their moon in Capricorn and their Mars in Capricorn. And if you have a Cancer moon, I think if you have a Cancer moon, it'll play out a lot, maybe a little bit better. But it's still, I think you just use manipulative tactics to get that. I don't think, Capricorn is a lot of things, but not that manipulative. I think Capricorns are like Aries in the sense where they're kind of direct. They don't like to beat around the bush, because they have this thing of like, let's not waste time. Because once again, Saturn, you have this thing of not wasting time. And I know that you guys get really, really angry when people waste your time, especially in like romantic relationships, which is why a lot of the times like you guys would opt to not be in relationships. But at the same time, I feel like you guys get really, especially the dudes, even the women though, but I feel like with women it's just because they're shy. I think with the guys too, but I've noticed like, especially guys who have like their Mars in Capricorn conjunct Venus in Capricorn and then they're like a Scorpio sun as well, like they get so shy and nervous, and then they get really awkward. They get so awkward in relationships, like, because I feel like you guys don't have a Venusian type of romance. You guys are just more so like the way you express your romance is in practicality, like acts of service, which is also something that you have in common with me as a Mars in Virgo and a Virgo sun sign. We like, doing small practical things like, oh, I noticed you don't have petrol or gas, so I'll go get you some petrol. That's cute, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of the times, because you don't have the air of romance, it doesn't like, obviously it'll depend. Like if you have like your Venus in Sagittarius, it'll be different. If you have like your Venus in Libra, but then also, oh, that's square. If you have Venus in Libra squaring your Mars in Capricorn, it's you. You're the problem, it's you. It's me. I'm the problem, it's me. Hi, it's me. It's you. Especially if you do like, I feel like dudes with Venus and Libras, and if you have like a moon in Sag, Venus in Libra, Mars in Capricorn, bro, you're the problem. Let me tell you something. It's you. I'm not judging. I have Mars square Pluto. Trust me, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging, but I'm just letting you know it is you. You're the problem. Okay, consult with me so I can tell you why. Get a reading from me so I can tell you why. But anyway, the point is, what was I saying actually? Oh yeah, air of romance. You guys just kind of struggle with romance. As I was saying, oh no, actually no. Even if you do have a Venus in Libra, you still, I feel like with the dudes, like they still have a really hard time being romantic. And I can tell you a story, right? Because I had a thing with a dude who was a Scorpio sun, Scorpio sun, Capricorn moon, right? Libra, Venus, Mars in Capricorn, and the Leo rising, and then Mercury was in Scorpio. I can remember anyone's chart. I won't remember your name, but I will remember your chart to a T. Anyway, my point is, I had a thing with this dude. That was my brother. It was just creepy. But I had a thing with him, and or maybe it was just that time in his life. But I also had another thing with a dude who had a Scorpio sun, Capricorn, Venus, and Mars, right? And the similar thing that they both had in common is that because they're planners, right? And I think it's also because of that Scorpio sun. That whole Hades. Remember, that story of Hades and Persephone? Hey, guys. Hey. Wait, I was, being a Virgo, you will always be a Persephone in someone's story. I really feel that. Or maybe it's just also because I didn't have... It was my fault also, because I didn't say no. Like, I really could have said no in this situation. But anyway, my point is, both of the situations, because they're organizers, they're planners, you guys love planning, you're passionate about planning and then executing the things that you plan. It was always a situation of, we would have a talking stage, or we would communicate. And I think it's because you guys are so awkward, and you don't like feeling awkward because it makes you feel like vulnerable. So instead of like asking the person that you're being romantic with, hey, I want us to take these steps, they don't do that. Mars and Capricorn men don't do that. They just tell you, they're like, yo, we're doing this. They don't ask for you for your permission. They tell you this is the they tell you, like, and not even tell you, they act on it. Like, they just, especially like if they have like a sun in Scorpio, because then they'll have a harmonious trine, so their actions will align with their intentions. But it's even more intense with that duo, like with the Scorpio sun, Capricorn Mars, because they really, like, I swear to God, they don't ask you, like, they just do it. Like, if they want you, for example, like, okay, I don't want to tell you the full thing because it's gonna take up time, and I already have to get to the houses, right? But it'll be a thing of like if they like you and you guys have been talking for a while, they'll get the sense that, okay, you like me, so let's already just jump into it. Like, let me not get into the steps of like asking you, will you be my girlfriend? Because also the whole thing of them being afraid of rejection, you know what I'm saying? Mars and Capricorn are also really afraid of rejection, definitely terrified of it, because then it goes into their whole self-esteem, makes them feel weird and vulnerable, then they'll regret it and cringe. They'll be like Virgos in the sense that they'll feel like, oh, why did I do that? Yuck, you know. But they won't ask you, they'll just do it. Like, they'll just attack. Like, they'll just take you, like, they don't ask your permission. And for little on me, I'm a Libra, I have Libra placements, and I have a Libra Venus, right? So I'm just like, whoa, what are we doing? Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, where was the step? Why didn't you, there was no flowers involved or anything. But that's another thing with Mars and Capricorn men. Like, I feel like they're good at planning life things, but I think because they also square the 7th house of relationships, so relationships can also be a little bit difficult for them to have. And if they do have relationships, a lot of the times they'll want those relationships to align with their long-term goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want everything to be at that 10th house. Everything must align with the 10th house, you know. So I think even with relationships, the way that they attack, because Mars rules attacking, the way that they attack relationships is to just go for it. They don't ask questions, they don't ask you out, and if they do, it'll probably be because you gave them the sense that you like them back, so then they'll just kind of like take you, you know. But it's different with Mars and Capricorn females. They're a lot more shy, like, but also I've noticed with both, you guys have this thing of, you don't like showing yourself, like, you're so controlled, you're so contained, like, you don't like but I also think it's a thing of like not wanting to show vulnerability and not wanting to show weakness. So that's the thing. I don't like that with Mars energy, because any bit of emotions, you guys see that as weakness. But I get it, like, in this day and age, the world that we live in, boo. But yeah, with Mars and Capricorn people, like, I know you guys have this thing where you're very reserved. But that's just the Capricorn thing. It's also like the Saturn thing where you preserve yourself and you only give 100% of yourself in things that matters, like your goals or even your friends, you know, because you've already, I guess, reached the goal with your friends to have friends. So you've got that, you know. So when you're with your friends, maybe you're a lot more loose. But in times of like conflict or in times of like chaos, like, you guys are very reserved and you know how to plan moves. Like, you know how to be like, okay, this is gonna happen, you guys go there, you guys do this, do that. That's where you're great, you know. But in situations where I feel like you would need like to be a little bit more loose, like parties, you guys have a hard time doing that. So you need a little bit of like shots, you need something, you need that 12th house sextile, aka alcohol, weed, whatever, to kind of, you know, let you loose. And you could have like, you could even have Sagittarius placements, you know. But in the times where you feel like, okay, I have to be reserved, you'll be very reserved, and it'll be hard to read you, especially if you have like the shit in the 10th house. If you're Aries rising and you have the shit in the 10th house, you guys are very contained, self-contained. you know. I feel like if you also have Scorpio placements, it like you really struggle with opening up. And I feel like with the females, especially with females who have this conjunct Venus, like if you have a Mars in Capricorn conjunct your Venus in Capricorn, you know, sometimes you'll get into situations a lot of the times where you have beef with females just because like a woman may have really liked you. For example, like let's say I really like you, you're a Mars in Capricorn woman, and I really fuck with you, or not fuck with you, like I've seen you on Instagram and I've seen you around and I really like how you look, I like how you carry yourself. So then I will make the first move and be like, dude, you're so pretty. As a Mars in Capricorn, you'll kind of be very standoffish, you know what I'm saying? Like I know you guys have gone that, even the men, you guys are very standoffish, kind of aloof, you know, reserved, blank face, resting bitch face sometimes, you know. So then like you would do that to me, and then I would take it as, oh, you don't like me, oh, you think you're better than me, and then I hate you. And I feel like with Mars and Capricorn women, especially with the women who have this conjuncting Venus, also if it's conjuncting the moon, you probably have this rocky relationship with women where like it's just beef. So a lot of the times you also keep if you're a woman, you keep your group very tiny. You probably have 2 best friends, 3 best friends, not more than 5 though. That's OD for you, you know. And then you just rock with them, especially if this shit is conjuncting Lilith. Oh, if this is conjuncting Lilith, and especially if this is in the first house, you are the villain no matter what. Like no matter what, like you can't get out of that. Like if you have Lilith in Capricorn with conjuncting your ascendant, conjuncting Mars and Venus, and even the moon possibly, you, like, people just hate you, and you probably also feel that in yourself. Because I know also with Capricorn placements, especially with Mars and Venus and moon, you guys could also have a really hard time appreciating yourselves. You could have a really, like, you guys also, just like Virgos, twinsies, once again, you just have like this self-critical thing about you, and you just always feel like you're not good enough. But also it's just like that earth, I feel like earth energy has so much melancholy to it, like, and we literally can't get out of it. I think the one who is affected by it the least would be Taurus, because they have self-worth and all that good shit, all that good Venus shit, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's not like that, because, you know, I think maybe the Venus can be displayed in like they know how to value things, and they know how to find the value in things. They also may know how to find the value in themselves, but sometimes, like, if they were raised in fucked up circumstances, obviously, then Tauruses may not really find value in themselves. They might find value in themselves when they have material things. But once again, I think all of us earth signs, earth Venuses especially, even earth Marses, because then it comes with Mars, it's just like, with Mars and earth, it's just like a hyperfixation on nitpicking yourself, because you're a practical being. And like, but also with I think maybe not Taurus, it's just you and me, Mars and Virgo, Mars and Capricorn, just nitpicking ourselves, and then nitpicking ourselves to the point where we hate ourselves. But I've noticed that with you guys a lot more, like, you guys have a hard time like really appreciating yourself, and then you fall into these super depressive modes, and then the only thing that brings you self-worth is accomplishing your goals, which even when you accomplish your goals, you might down talk yourself and be like, you know what, I could have done this better, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But on the other hand, I know with women, you know, they don't really like to show themselves out. They don't really like to go out a lot of the times, unless they have a purpose. Like, if they're going to a club, it's because they're a promoter there, they're getting paid to be there, you know what I'm saying. If they're going to a party, it's because they're getting paid to be there. Like, otherwise they'll be in the home chilling, you know. Oh, at work, of course they'll be at work, they'll be trying to score a job so they can get paid extra money, so that they can buy themselves specific materials, so that they can feel a lot better about themselves. But also with the men, I've realized with Mars and Capricorn men, you guys lie about accomplishments. You guys lie about stupid shit. Like, once, like, the second dude, the guy who had a Mars in Capricorn conjuncting Venus, not the guy who had a Venus in Libra, because there were 2 Scorpios that I was involved. Okay, the one, okay, let's call them different names, right? So the one with a Venus in Libra, we'll call him what would we call him? We'll call him Lavender, right? And then the one who had a conjunction with these Venus and Mars and Capricorn, because they're both Scorpios, right? But the one who had the conjunction with Venus and Scorpio, we'll call him aloe, like aloe vera. So aloe vera lied about going to Paris. he lied about going to Paris, right? And I'm a Mars and Virgo, right? So when you're involved with me, you have to have some kind of like job stability, because I like that, like, because then we can both feel secure. I can feel secure enough to open up to you and all of that shit. But this nigga lied. But he did have a crib though, like he did have a place to stay. It's just he lied about going to Paris. And I was like, okay, cool, because he wanted to see me, right? And I was like, okay, cool, send me money so I can come see you, so I can, like, you know, get petrol so I can come see you. And then he was like, no. I don't know, maybe that was him being stingy, because I know Mars and Capricorn men, stingy as hell. They can be so stingy, but it's like, to them it's just like, oh no, they're just saving up for rainy days. And I guess that's a valid point, but it's just like, bro, if you're not gonna try to, and this is, think about this day and age, guys. Think about this day and age. Which is another reason why I feel like Mars and Capricorn men are like also not that pressed about being in a relationship. And then a lot of the times, like, they'll be the first dudes to be like, I want a simple girl. I don't want a girl who's into, I like all natural girls, because really what they're saying is that I don't want to have to spend money on my girl for makeup and shit, you know. Oh, when they're young, when Mars and Capricorn men are young, they finesse women. So Lavender, right, the other one, because I met him when I was 19, when I was doing my first job. Hopefully he never sees it. If he does, but anyway, I'm telling the truth right now. But I was 19, right? And he also lied about being a model. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna go to Tokyo for a fashion show. Do you wanna come? But I said no. But you know what I thought he was gonna do? This is my Virgo tingling senses telling me that, he was gonna finesse me and be like, okay, pay for your own flight. And then he would have been like, no, just send me the money. So basically I would have been giving him free money. He would have been like, no, send me the money for the flight. And then I would have been like, okay, cool. I would have been super excited about the flight, and then we would have talked about it. And then last minute he would have been like, oh, it's cancelled, but we can't get our money back. That time he would have taken my money, because he's a fucking scammer. Scammers, Mars and Capricorn men, scammers. They can be scammers on the lowest vibration. You guys are scamming, lying motherfuckers, and you scam women out of their shit because you don't want to spend your money, but you want other people to be spending their money on you. But Mars and Capricorn women, though, they're most likely to attract men who want to spend on them, which is also something I'm so jealous of, because what the fuck, like, you mean to tell me all you're doing is existing and money is just coming to you, like stability is just coming to you, or like means for you to get your own, like, people can come into your life that can offer you, like a person may not be the one who's directly giving you money, but they can introduce you to a job that can get you money. You know what I'm saying? Like, can introduce you to a career path that'll help you get money. So in a sense, like, you guys are taken care of in that, you know, in that way. So jealous, so fucking jealous. Oh my god. But yeah, the men, the dudes, and this is not me. I actually know I am low-key shaming you guys, but no, let me not get biased. I'm just here to teach. But I am giving you my experiences as well, which is also on my part. I need to choose better people to be in my life, you know. But I was young, okay. But my point is, you guys with Capricorn Mars men, they like to expose a public persona, just like Leo men. They like to show you one side of them so that you can see them in this limelight, because Leo and Capricorn have that same shit in common. Even though they're in conjuncting, they share the fact that they're really good organizers. They know how to boss people around and manage shit, but they are very hypersensitive to their public self and how the public perceives them and how the public sees them. But, you know, Leo isn't necessarily as preserved and conservative as Capricorn. Leo wants you to see them, but they want the praises, they want the worship, they want the admiration, they want the glory, the glorification, and all of that. But they're still a bit goofy because of the 5th house. They know how to enjoy themselves. They know how to, I feel like Leo would be like a more fun version of Capricorn, to be honest, you know. And then Capricorn is the more serious version of Leo, where they're like, as much as they want to be seen in the public, they won't be doing too many crazy things. They don't even want that much attention. But the only time that a Capricorn Mars person would want attention and that get angry if they don't get that attention, you know, is if they worked hard for something and then like no one is paying attention to that. But they won't like throw a tantrum like a Leo would. They'll probably just sulk. They'll just brood and sulk, and then they'll get back to it. But they'll feel like, you know what, Did I get money out of this? Cool. But at the same time, you know what? Money does make you happy, but money can't fill the void in you. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Money can't fill the void. It can fill a whole bunch of things. And I feel like you guys would be the fastest people to be like, you know what? It's better to cry in a Rolls Royce than to cry in a bus. And you know what? Granted. But your void, that void, let's talk about that void though. Let's talk about that void. But not all of you guys, because I know some of you guys, like, you guys are actively working on yourselves and you're actively trying to be better people and not scammers. And not trying to scam women out of their pockets. Because even Mars and Capricorn women, they can scam too. No lie. But I feel like women, just show some titties. Easy peasy. So show some ass. Jiggle your butt, twerk a little bit, you know, bat your eyelashes, you know what I'm saying, your hair, do your eyes, little seductive eyes, and boom, you can get a man like that. But that's granted, you know what I'm saying. But when men do, when the Mars and Capricorn men do it, I also feel like they have like an obvious, like, they're kind of obvious in the way that they're so sneaky. And even speaking of Mars now, because you know Mars deals with our sexual desires, Mars and Capricorn men have a very, very high sex drive. Mars and Capricorn, never mind men, both, like, very high sex drive. So, like, they are hungry, they're thirsty. But think about this. The sign before them is Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius, having a Sagittarius Mars is basically like having a Jupiter Mars, which is the exact same thing as having a very high sex drive. And then before that is a Scorpio Mars. Scorpio is home in that shit. So those three signs, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, I'll even extend it to Aquarius too. You know, those four signs, high sex drive, very high libido. But that's with Capricorn's case, just because it's exalted in there, you know. But also because especially the dudes, not especially, but speaking more so for the dudes, because like they'll have the desire and the intention to want to like satisfy you. Their goal would be to satisfy you, and then if they don't, they'll be so hard on themselves, and then they'll want to do anything that they can to do it, you know. And I think the nice part is, you know, sex with a Capricorn man, also even women, but we'll get to the women. Capricorn men, like, they want you to finish first. They want you to finish first. And if they don't, it's probably because they have some Aries in them and they're overly selfish. You know what I'm saying? But with the women, same thing. Like, they want to provide for you. And with the women, like, they'll feel offended if you are not. Because with the, like, same with Virgos. Mars and Virgo people, if they're having sex with you and you guys are intimate, like, they want to have that in their routine. They want to have sex with you daily, like, part of the routine. You know what I'm saying? With Capricorn, same situation. With women, like, they'll kind of, because with Mars and Capricorn women, once again, they have a hard time opening up. So just like Scorpio, when they do open up, it's in the most intimate moments. And that's the most intimate thing you can do, have sex with someone. So if you kind of deny them of that, they kind of feel like, obviously it depends on the person. Because if those Mars and Capricorn people have a Venus in Aquarius, then they won't mind being for the streets. I'm not gonna lie to you. They won't mind being a street rat. They won't mind being that. You know what I'm saying? And getting their needs met from any individual, especially if they have if there's like a Pisces Sun, Aquarius Venus, Capricorn Mars, like, they'll probably most likely be for the streets, or they'll have a phase where they are like that. Obviously not everybody, guys, I'm not generalizing. Low-key I am, but like, if you're watching this and you're like, that's not me, I'm not talking about you, but maybe you've had that thought though. Let's talk about that. You probably had that thought, especially with the Pisces and Aquarius mix, because Pisces and Aquarius is like the two signs of connecting to everybody. So then your sexual drive won't necessarily limit itself to just a particular relationship, like monogamous vibes. You'll probably be less monogamous, especially if you're born in my generation. If you're born in my generation, definitely. But of course, there are some of you guys, Mars and Capricorn people, because Saturn is also here. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have your Mars and Capricorn conjuncting Saturn in Capricorn, then you probably would opt to be more celibate. Obviously, it doesn't just have to. You don't have to have exactly those alignments. But definitely with Mars and Capricorn, these guys don't mind being celibate. and holding on their sexuality, and then holding that sexuality and using their energy and their sexual energy for their goals, their career. Because honestly, you guys are obsessed with your careers, but that's great for you. Honestly, rather be obsessed with your career than other annoying things. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you guys can be really just like Virgos, just like us. That's why I say you guys with 2020 vision, city girls winning, 2020 vision, earth signs winning, copying us bullshit, bitch, we're twinning, period. You know what I'm saying? But we're just very hard on ourselves just because we really have these very high standards, and like we have this quality of living that we have in our life, and it's like when we don't even accomplish it, it's like, oh my god, why are we a failure? I don't know. I do know why we're like that. We're just practical, and our opposite signs are water signs. So whenever we emotionally connect to an idea, we want to see it through, and we'll do anything in our power to see it through. It's just like when it's not happening right now and we're not seeing the results right now, it's frustrating. You know what I'm saying? And patience, I think maybe you, Mars and Capricorn, have a little bit more patience, even though you probably will be a lot more sad. Even in your patience, you'll be a lot more angry at yourself and brood, and maybe even self-harm. However you do it, maybe it's critical thoughts, maybe it's drinking a lot, maybe it'll be being mean to yourself, whatever. With Virgo, it's just criticizing. I criticize so hard, but I just like, we really demand ourselves to be these perfect people, and social media does not make it any easier, honestly, because you'll see people your age, and I know this, you'll see people your age, like if you're my age, you'll see Willow Smith, you'll see whoever, like you'll see who's Jenna Ortega, who's like 2 years younger. I'm a 2000, by the way. But let's say you're a 2000, just like me, or you're born in whatever, like you're born 1998 or whatever, and then you see younger people or people within your age group do better than you, and it just makes you angry, and you get this immense jealousy, and it just feels like, oh, why am I not there, you know? But you just need to calm that shit down. Like, I'm also speaking to myself too. Just calm that shit down. But I know with Mars and Capricorn, it's more so just because of like the accomplishments. Like, you feel like you haven't accomplished as much, and then you kind of take it personally when people who you don't even know like that are winning. You know what I'm saying? And then you just like, it makes you feel physically sick to see that, you know. But I'm here to tell you not to take that shit like that, because we all have different journeys. And you know, YOLO. You know what I'm saying? You know the vibes, period. And yeah, okay. Yo, I almost spent an hour talking about this. Okay, so the next hour will be dedicated to Mars and Capricorn through the signs. Yeah. That's what I want to say about you guys. But yeah, you guys have a lot of stamina. Like, you have a lot of stamina, not just for and your anger language, what makes you angry is once again, when people don't stick to the plan, when it takes you a little bit longer to accomplish a goal that you thought you would have accomplished now. Like, let's say you have a goal set for April, and April comes and it hasn't happened. You'll be furious. You'll be angry at the world, angry at yourself, and then you'll think, damn, I didn't work hard enough, and then you'll overwork yourself. But that's the thing with exaltations. You can overdo that energy and then think it's fine because you're already so used to overdoing that shit. Which is why when you get angry, you overdo it too. Yeah, yes, it takes you a little bit longer to get angry. Maybe not as long. I think Virgo Mars is the first one to get annoyed. We get very pissed. Then Taurus. Taurus is the least likely to get angry. Obviously, unless they have Aries placements. But even so, I think it'll chill them down. That Mars and Taurus will chill them down. But yeah, Virgo Mars, first one to get pissed off. Then Capricorn Mars. But then when you guys get mad, just like Taurus is. But honestly, all of us. I think when Virgo Mars gets mad, it's first with the words. And also because mutable signs are chaotic. So it's like unpredictable. But then when you get angry, because you have Mars energy naturally and you're exalted there, you just go crazy. And then when Tauruses get angry, because their opposition is Scorpio and they're fixed, so it'll be difficult to get them out. But you guys, I feel like you guys are top two. I think Virgo would be the least likely to like want to kill someone. Maybe just speaking about me. But yeah, you know, even Tauruses, I think, you know what, let me just say it depends. It depends on the situation. But when you guys get angry, it's probably because like someone's pushing your buttons, and you're maybe not in control of the situation because you guys are so fucking bossy. Yo, you're so bossy, and I hate that. I hate it. Let me tell you, I hate it. You guys are so bossy, but when people aren't following your instructions, you get pissed off or you get weird. Like, what the fuck? What? Obviously with women it's different, because I feel like with women who have a Mars and Capricorn, you want that nigga, like whoever you're with, even if it's your guy friends, you want them to be in control. You want them to carry themselves like they know what's going on, they have a plan for everything, they're organizing things. And then when men don't have that, and they kind of show characteristics of Cancer placements, like they're more emotional, they're more submissive, even Libra placements, like Mars and Capricorn women around Libra, Cancer, Pisces type people, they don't like those type of people. I feel like you guys like the more dominant kind of guys, or assertive, let me say that, not dominant like domineering, like more assertive guys who know what's going on, like, yo, okay babe, I have this plan, we're gonna do this and this and this and this and this and this, and like this, all you have to do is do this. You love that. That's a turn on. I'll smash. That's definitely for you guys. You like that kind of shit, yeah. And then the guys, like when the guys are in a relationship, they just really bossy. But I just think for them it's a thing of like, let's not waste time, let's make a plan, let's execute the plan. But I feel like even in that kind of mindset, there's no time for spontaneity. And I don't think Capricorn placements like spontaneous shit, because also Capricorn, the sign itself, falls in Jupiter, because the opposite Cancer is exalted in Jupiter, so then Capricorn falls in Jupiter, so having faith, Capricorns can lack having faith in things. Capricorns can lack having belief in shit. They'll only believe something once they can practically see it happening right now in their face with their senses, their eyes, their nose, their taste buds. Otherwise they don't believe it, they don't trust it, they have trust issues, they don't believe that shit. They can't see it, doesn't make wait, what's that's that thingy, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, something like that, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense, doesn't make something. What? Yeah, it doesn't make sense, doesn't make dollar. Yeah, anyway, something like that. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, but Capricorns also like faith. They don't like having new experiences. They don't have a lot of emotional wisdom, but they have practical wisdom though. And they're very rigid in their thinking. They don't have they don't want to expand their mind. Yeah, they don't want to expand in anything. Because they also Saturn rules fear, so they have a fear of like doing things that are unknown, and you guys are scared of like breaking out of your little shell, your little ring. You want to stay within your rings. You see, oh my god, Saturn, even though it's protected, it's also still restricted because of its own fucking rings. So you guys also do that. Even Aquariuses, but I think Aquariuses are more because of Uranus too, so they have like a co-affector, But yeah, that's you guys. You guys just don't like getting out of your rings, You don't like being out of your rings because it makes you feel vulnerable. And you guys are so judgy. Both the women and the men. And that's coming from me, a Virgo. You guys are so judgy and you're so mean and you guys are so dark. Oh my god. But same. Same. Yeah, but honestly, at your best, you guys just care for people, and the way that you care, you just want to make sure people's lives are easier, and the way that you want to make that happen is by organizing a way of living for other people. But if you're with people like me who have Gemini placements, don't do that. Even though I probably would need that, because being scattered all the time is not ayoba, once again, just a misunderstanding. But I know you guys, when you have good intentions, the intention is just to organize a plan and a connection that'll last for a long time. And I respect that. And that's coming from the Virgo placements in me and the Aquarius placements, no lie. Yeah, anyway, but now that we're done with that, let's move on to Mars and Capricorn through the house. Start with Mars and Capricorn in the first house, right? So Mars and Capricorn in the first house represents, wait, let me put this here. Okay, perfect. So now I'm in the middle. So Mars and Capricorn in the first house. First house represents your personality, your personal goals, things that are personal to you, people, places, and things that are personal to you that you consider personal, and things that you personally identify with, and the relationship that you have with yourself. Let me put this pillow back. I was trying to like move pillows so I can put my phone in a position where you guys could see me. And I decided, you know what, right here, like my phone is right now stacked on top of some pillows. Anyway, okay, so much better. So Mars and Capricorn in the first house. As I said, first house rules the relationship that you have with yourself, basically, and the relationship that you have with yourself. So Mars and Capricorn in the first house. Mars loves to be in the first house, right? And I also would now believe that having Capricorn in the first house or the 8th house is low-key like an exaltation. Low-key. But also because Capricorn now is in the first house, Saturn is also here. So not really, not necessarily. But I would kind of say because it's not nice. Having Capricorn in the first house isn't nice because your personality is restricted. Right? It's difficult for you to express yourself. And the only time you feel like you can express yourself is at work or when you're doing responsibilities. But it's difficult for you to express yourself freely and loosely without feeling awkward. And then you also know, like, when other people are expressing themselves freely, you kind of feel like, damn, why can't I do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just because of Saturn restricting your personality, you know. But having Capricorn here also, it just makes you, and also having Mars here as well, it just makes you personally driven. Like, you're very goal orientated. You're extremely goal orientated. You also look very intimidating. I'm very sure you've heard that a lot of times. You probably scare people away, but it's also just because you're awkward and you don't know what to say. So the best way for you to protect yourself and not show that you're awkward is to give that look, that resting bitch face look, and then make other people feel stupid. You know, just throw the ball in their court so that you aren't exposing your vulnerability. I know you guys do that. Excuse me. But I think also later you kind of feel like, damn, why fucking Saturn. And then because you also have Capricorn here, and Saturn is also your house, your chart ruler, you know, it'll kind of make you feel scared to express yourself because you don't want to feel awkward. Because there'll probably be times in your life where you really want to express yourself, but then you'll feel awkward and you'll be like, oh my god, I never want to do this again. You know, and then you just never do, and then you just always conceal your personality, and then you're always just the person that's taking care of things. Like, you're always the mom. Okay, maybe not the mom friend of the group, but you're always the one, like, you have the bag. So when your friend's asking you, hey, please hold my phone, you have the bag to hold everyone's phone. You have the bag to hold everyone's jersey. You know, when your friends are drunk, you're the one driving them home. You're not necessarily the one nurturing them, like making them feel like it'll be okay. Or maybe you could, because you have Cancer in the 7th house. So it depends. You know what? Okay, I'll take that back. You probably are the mom. If you're a dude, you're probably like the dude that everyone can rely on. Especially if you're the friend that has a car, like all your homies come to your house. You know what I'm saying? You're always the one giving your friends jobs. You're always the one, you know, helping your friends out with whatever that they need. You know what I'm saying? But you're not the friend. You're not the funny friend. Obviously, it'll depend on other things. Like, maybe, let's say you're like an Aries sun sign. Maybe it'll depend, you know. But as far as like taking care of things, like if your friends really need your help, you're definitely there for them, you know. Wait. I move that there. Okay. But yeah, having Mars and Capricorn in the first house, you're just very goal orientated. You're super passionate about your personal goals. So you could have a personal goal to I don't know, what are personal goals that you might have? Like body goals, for example. You could have like a goal to lose weight. Like, you will be on that shit. But I think that would maybe be someone who has like Mars and Capricorn in the 6th house. But still, because, you know, first house deals with your body, like your general body, what your body looks like, what your face looks like. Not necessarily the health of it, but what it actually physically looks like. You know, so if you want to change the physicality of your face, then you'll do that. If that's your goal, you're going to do that. You're going to be determined and passionate about doing that. And, you know, because now Pluto has been transiting Capricorn, and so it's been conjuncting your Mars, and if you have this in the first house, you've probably been going through a lot of personal trials and tribulations. You've probably been going through a lot personally, like a lot of personal chaos, personal shifts, personal turmoils. But I feel like you've also been figuring out how to be personally independent and strong. You know what I'm saying? Even in the face of adversity and in the face of like pure utter chaos, you know how to keep your shit together. And you know how to fight yourself. Fight for yourself, or also fight yourself, because you could have a lot of personal anger that's directed towards yourself, especially in the moments where you're not accomplishing your personal goals, which could be whatever. You could have a personal goal to grow out your locks, and every day you're on your locks and you're moisturizing them, and you're very intense about how you take care of that shit. But a lot of the time, especially with Pluto transiting here, and I'm next. Pluto and Aquarius, I'm next. But anyway, having Pluto transit conjunct your Mars and your first house here, I feel like you also could have had a lot of people projecting onto you as well. A lot of people who would have an idea on you, and then like they kind of force you to act out in the ways that they think you are, and then that'll kind of make you snap and make you angry, and then you kind of fight them. You could even fight yourself, and then be like, wait, what is it that I do that makes people do this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it about me that makes people do that? But I also feel like with this transit, it's kind of made you guys yes, like it's obviously brought you through a lot of ups and downs personally with yourself, but I feel like you guys have gained a lot of personal strength and willpower, especially when Saturn was also in Capricorn, which was probably a whole trip, because then you guys were going through shit, but then you were forced to make it out, because no one else was even understanding what was going on in your personal life, except maybe like the personal people that were in there. But I feel like Capricorn Saturn energy, they don't really like bothering people with their problems, so you just deal with it yourself. But I feel like even in that, you just kind of learn how to be there for yourself, and then you realize your own personal power and realize like, okay, I've always known that I had to do things myself, but now with Pluto being there, it was like, holy shit, like, oh my god, I really am so responsible for myself, my own happiness, my own everything. But I also feel like it made you scared to open up. I think that with Mars and Capricorn in the first house, and then with Pluto being here as well, with that transit in Pluto, it made you afraid of opening up to people, especially people who were new, people that you weren't familiar with anyway. It made you extremely terrified to be vulnerable to the people that you were not close to. But I think even having Saturn in the first house too just makes you scared to expose yourself personally. So you will have a lot of traits and characteristics like Scorpio. And I'm pretty sure within this transit you probably were like that, because Kylie Jenner, she has a Capricorn rising, and she had her Pluto conjuncting that first house. And if you can see, her physical appearance changed, body changed. So you guys are probably also going through that exact same change. You're going through that exact same shift. Not like Kylie Jenner, because her shit, like, she's famous, so everybody could see that. But you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like, your physical body changes, and then you realize that just like Kylie Jenner, you have to be in charge of your own life. You have to take care of yourself, and then essentially taking care of yourself, you can take care of your family, take care of all the people that you're personally close to. But that's naturally what happens. But then just naturally having Mars in the first house in Capricorn, you just have a lot of personal will, personal conviction, and you know how to motivate yourself. But also because Saturn would be here, you know how to motivate yourself and stay disciplined on your personal goals. Period. And with that, we're moving on to Mars and Capricorn in the second house, right? So second house deals with your assets, things that you have, things that you personally own, your possessions, your values, your self-esteem, things that you have that contribute to maintaining your self-esteem. Things that you even believe that you have that contribute to your personal self-esteem, and resources, and how you maybe not maintaining, because maintenance is 6th house type shit, but maybe even the things that you could have that could help you maintain things, but everything that you have, that's second house type shit. So having Mars and Capricorn in the second house as a Sagittarius rising, you guys are very stingy with your assets. That I know. Sagittarius risings, super fun people, but they sharing, they have a hard time sharing. Even people who have like Aries suns, like they have a really hard time sharing, because it's Saturn here, right? So you guys, you're scared of losing things, because there probably a time, and especially because now Pluto has been transiting people with this. Pluto has been transiting your second house, so you probably lost a whole bunch of things, and maybe you were homeless for a little bit, So now the idea of if somebody asks you for some money, it's like boggling to you, because you'll be like, no ways, like I know I'm gonna need this, because there's been a time where you didn't have money, like especially people who are naturally born with Pluto in the second house or Saturn in the second house. Yes, you can maintain money. That's definitely one thing I'll say for sure. Maintaining money is something that comes easy to you, especially maintaining your own money. You know how to save up on your own money. But even in that, like you have sharing is just it's not something that comes for you. It doesn't come naturally to you. You're very stingy in that sense, because you feel like everything that I have needs to sustain me for a long time. And if somebody who's asking you that is somebody who you're not sure that they can give you back, like for example, you wouldn't like borrowing money. You would probably prefer giving people money, especially if you're in the position to. If you can give somebody that money 3 times and still be good, then you'll be fine in that situation. But if you're not in a position to have, like, to even say that you can afford to give that 3 times, like it'll make you scared to even consider that. It'll make you scared to give people money, because you'll feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna need that. And then with Mars being here, Mars in the second house, you guys, and in Capricorn, it's a thing of like, what makes you angry is you not planning out budgeting when people don't know how to budget. Because I feel like with this, you can really budget really, really well. These are people who are great and excellent at budgeting. But Mars in the second house in Capricorn, I feel like you guys are, especially because Pluto has been here, I want to add that, like, you guys have probably experienced, losing a lot. So it may not even have been money, but it could have been like you lost your home, or you got evicted or something, just because you couldn't afford these specific funds, or you lost, I don't know, you probably lost specific items, you lost whatever, and then that affected your self-esteem. And then as it affected your self-esteem, it made you feel like, okay, now I have to be even more restrictive in what I give out, so I have to preserve a lot more. And then you do this a lot more aggressively. When people ask you for things, it also makes you angry, because then you'll feel like, no, why can't you do it yourself? So maybe the only way that you would share assets would be offering someone a job, so that they can work for themselves, so that they can get their own money for themselves. But as far as you just sharing your assets, like, without having somebody work for it, you have a big problem with that. And especially if somebody is demanding you to give them something, you would have a really big problem with that, because you would feel like, no, first of all, you didn't even earn this, so why would I give it to you for free, motherfucker? Like, why would I do that, But then, like, to the other person, like, especially if you have friends that are freely giving, like people like me who have Pisces in the second house, and then you just give shit freely, we give shit freely to people, like, you will probably be really baffled by these people, but you'll feel like, okay, this is where you become users as well, because Mars, wherever Mars is, it takes. So you probably have no problem taking other people's assets, using other people's assets for your own personal benefit. This is how Mars in the second house will play, especially in Capricorn, because Capricorn is the 10th house, and Capricorn's motto is I use. So you'll probably use other people's assets to sustain yourself. So there's probably even been a time where you had to live with somebody else and use their assets to sustain yourself. There probably had to be a time, because there was a time where you probably didn't have anything, so then you had to go back living with your mom or your boyfriend or whoever, your friends, and then they're probably your friends though, and then they had to help you. Or it could be a situation where you're the type of person to ask everybody, like, you're the type of person you could have money, but you hide that money, and then you pretend like you don't have money, and then you go around asking other people to have money, and they'd be like, don't you have it? You'd be like, no, I don't. I don't. And then that's how you are a scammer. But it's all just because you're afraid of losing what you have, but also like the whole preserving thing and the whole being selfish, that type of thing. That's Mars and Capricorn in the second house, for sure. Anyway, Mars in the third house now. So Mars and Capricorn in the third house. Third house represents, your friends, your environment, how you interact with people that you are familiar with, how your environment has shifted the way that you interact with the world, how you communicate, the language that you're communicating, the skills that you have. What else? Yeah, that's Mars and Capricorn. So having Mars and Capricorn in the third house as a Scorpio rising, you are somebody. So Mars and Capricorn in the third house. So then you would have had Pluto transit your third house, conjuncting Mars also. First of all, having Mars in the third house, as I always say, very sharp words, very aggressive words. You kind of can speak without thinking because it's very impulsive energy. But I think because Capricorn is here, it's discipline. You're the type of person where you wait for the right time to say the exact thing that you've been waiting to say your whole life. It's just a thing of, because Pluto was here, it's because you wait to observe everything. You want to, before you say anything, you want to know all the facts. You want to know all the practical things that have been happening. You want to know everything so that you can gather that information, pile it up, assort it, organize it before you express it. So that when you do express it, you're on point. Also because Pluto has been transiting there, you want to be on point with your facts. You want to be on point with everything that you want to say. So with Mars there, and then when you do eventually speak, it's very aggressive. It's very sharp, it's quick. But it's also realistic, so you can cut people. Yeah, you can be that's the word. Have a sharp tongue, basically. This is kind of how you low-key share Virgo vibes, But I feel like here, these are the type of people that I feel like your goals would be more so like you would probably have long-term goals to be like a writer. These are your rappers, your artists, your journalists. This could be your so the third house, so skills, whatever skills that you learned. Even engineer. Honestly, it's giving engineer vibe. It could also give lawyer vibe. You could really be a really good lawyer with this, knowing how to gather facts, especially because Pluto has been here for 20 years. So you know how to gather facts, put them together, pile them together, and then, and because it's also Capricorn, so Capricorn deals with the government and legislations, and so you would probably work for the government, or you probably work in your environment. Like your career would be, and your reputation would be a lot more successful in the environment that you grew up in. So you could be the person that starts a business in the environment that you grew up in. Whatever it is. So it'll depend on the house lord that your third house would be in, that will determine what it is, what kind of business you start, But I think as far as having Capricorn in the third house and also having Pluto transiting here, you probably were obsessed with perfecting your skills, because the third house, third house deals with skills. It deals with skills that we learn from early in childhood. So you probably somebody who, as you grew up, like let's say you were a pianist, you want to perfect being a pianist, and because Pluto has been transiting there, it made you very obsessive with being the best, and then being known as being the best at what you do, and also because Mars would be here too, it elevates that, but I think this would make you even more domineering, like exceedingly domineering, like you are so obsessed with it, like, and then it makes you mean, and especially when you get into relationships. Oh man, especially when you get into relationships, like you just get like crazy obsessively bossy about having things that you want in your way, and then when you don't get it, then you get really rude and mean, and then your tongue is just like horrible. You say the most horrible shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, damn, bro, why would you hurt my feelings? Ouch. And you don't care, ouch. That type of thing. Excuse me. But yeah, that's Mars and Capricorn in the third house. You guys become passionate about perfecting your skills or learning a skill, because Saturn would be in your third house. A lot of the times, like, you may not have had an education, you may not have had like access to education, so maybe you had to be the one to pay for your school. You know those stories of people who had to hustle to pay for their education? That's probably your story, you know. And then now, because you were the type of person to dig yourself out of the mud, you don't let no one talk to you any kind of way, honey. Because you know what? You work way too hard, and you did some very sketchy shit to, you know, get what you wanted. But that kind of information you conceal, you know. And then only your friends would know about that. Or maybe, and even now, because you're in the position to, you know, be stable, maybe you're the person that helps your friends get from point A to point B. You can employ your friends. You could also work with your friends. You could start a business with your friends. But then you're the boss. You know, you're the leader. Like, you're the one organizing the blueprint type shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, you know? And you're turned on by people who like... Hey, you don't like stupid people that makes you angry, or things that don't make sense. When you don't like when people can't explain something and give you instructions, you know, or you don't like people who can't structure their own lives and then explain to you exactly what's going on. You don't like airheads, basically. But what turns you on is people who do have structure, people who can tell you exactly what they want to do, have an exact blueprint of whatever it is that they want to do, you know. That's what you fuck with. Like, you really like that. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then moving on to Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house for Libra rising. So, excuse me. So sorry. So Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house. You guys, as Libra risings, 4th house represents your home, you know, domestic issues. How you were raised emotionally to take care of your own emotions, how you were raised to be comfortable, you know, the home environment that you lived in, the emotions that you feel when you're at home, usually, you know, the energy and the vibes that you pick up from home, and essentially the home that's inside of you, you know, how your parents kind of raised you to nurture yourself, you know what I'm saying? But also just with that, think of anything dealing with home, domestic things, you know, how to nurture everybody in the home type shit. So having Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house, Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house. I already know your mom was horrible, because not only is it Capricorn in the 4th house, but then it's Mars, and then also because Pluto has been transiting here, you have mom issues. You're Libra rising, so you're probably one of those, you probably the type of person that confirms that pretty people are kind of cuckoo. And it's usually because they came from an environment that induced that, you know, that created that cuckoo-ness. So Mars and Capricorn, and I actually know someone who's like this. Also, she's a Scorpio sun. And this was the 1997 generation where Lilith was in Virgo. So then this girl's Lilith was in the 12th house, and then her Mars was in... I can imagine her mom was... mean, very mean. But like, I feel like you guys with Mars in the 4th house, like your moms were like those strict moms, or maybe the narcissistic type moms who, like, Black China, you know her mom, yeah, that type shit. But she's like her name is Tokyo, but she's a Libra. God damn. But yeah, you guys, if you've seen that, go watch Black China's mom, Tokyo, and then see that family dynamic. But Tokyo wasn't necessarily strict, like she didn't restrict China to do anything, you know what I'm saying? She was just kind of like not present, because she's a Libra. So I know Libra moms have this thing where they put relationships above everything, so they'll tend to neglect their kids sometimes just to maintain their romantic relationships, because they're hyper focused on that. So with you guys, I feel like your mom was not only, she was strict, but she was mean. Like, like Ursula from Little Mermaid, I would assume. But like, she was the type of person where she wanted everybody in the house to maintain their public image, but she wasn't emotionally present, you know. And if you have like a moon in Scorpio with this, I really feel for you. I really feel for you, bro. Anyway, but having a Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house, like, not only was your mom like narcissistic or had narcissistic tendencies, but she was also hyper fixated on how the public perceived the family. So she always told you guys to look a specific way and to not express yourselves in the way that you wanted to. So now that kind of made you guys also hyper focus on, okay, what matters most is how people perceive us. What matters most is how people view us, you know. And also in the years that Pluto was transiting through the fourth house, it was even more power and control dynamics in situations. So you probably had to learn that, okay, in order to make it in life, you have to really take power and control over every situation, because that's probably what your mom taught you, is that you have to be in control no matter what. Like, you probably had a type of mom that she was controlling. She probably was like an eagle type mom, where she wanted to monitor you every single move and dictate your every single move, and every small minor mistake you made, you probably got really punished. And then this is how, listen, you guys are probably psychopaths because of this. And I use that word very loosely, you know what I'm saying? But it just made you guys super frustrated, because now how it transpires is like, even with the men that you attract, because it's in Mars now, but because it's in the fourth house, or maybe it doesn't even have to be with your mom, could be your dad. Like, your dad could have been like this. Your dad was the one who was mean, you know, he was the one overly dictated. He wanted everything to happen the way he wanted it to happen, and when it didn't happen, he was super upset. Everything had to revolve around his ideals, his plans, you know, his organizations, and it left no room for anybody to express themselves. It was just a dictatorship. Like, but one parent was definitely the dictatorship in your house. But it could be either, because Capricorn, 10th house, 4th house mom, or maybe it was both. Maybe you grew up with both of your parents and they were both super strict, controlling, mean, no emotions in the house, just work. And then you as a Libra rising, because now you want to be helpful to everybody and balance the situation. So the way that you felt valued was to just go with the flow, go with whatever was being thrown at you. If your parents wanted you to have good grades, you did that. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But having Mars and Capricorn in the fourth house, it just makes you whenever you get close to somebody, it just makes it complicated, especially if you have any squares to the 7th house. If you have any planets in the 7th house, it'll square that. Hopefully it's not your Venus, which would be what, in Taurus? No, in Aries. Yeah, see, because if you have any, even if it's in Jupiter, or if it's in Saturn, ooh, dun dun dun. If you're part of the generation where that would be in the 1997. That would be in the 1997, kids. The T. So then your Saturn would be in Aries, and then that would be in the 7th house, and then your Mars would be in Capricorn in the 4th house, and then that square. Oh, even though they'd be in mutual reception, though, no lie, they'd be in mutual reception. But I feel like that square, that's the thing that's gonna complicate your romantic relationships, because it'd be the thing of, whenever you get close to somebody, there's always frustrations. Like, you turn into that domineering parent. You're the one that's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then you get very obsessive with it, and then you get kind of crazy when people don't abide to your rules. You get crazy obsessive when people don't like listen to you. You know what I'm saying? And then you go local. I don't know what you do. You probably plan on how you can, either you plan to organize them to get out of your life, or you could be like the vindictive type, you know, especially if like a Scorpio moon, Pisces moon, Cancer moon, Virgo moon, sometimes Libra moon, you know. But yeah, it's not Iowa, so it's not ideal. Hold my hand. Anyway, but that's it, you know. But yeah, you guys also, you just want things to happen the way that you want them to happen. Otherwise, it just makes you feel super uncomfortable and weird, and you don't like feeling that. You don't like to feel that, you know. So yeah, that's that. Moving on now to Mars and Capricorn in the 5th house. So 5th house deals with your entertainment, you know, how you have fun and enjoy yourself. Your romance, your hookup culture, how you hook up with people, that's 5th house type shit, you know. How you have fun with people, like how you entertain yourself and how you entertain others, 5th house type shit. how you are in like how you are in dating, like not necessarily you're committed, but like when you're dating people, how you are in dating type situations, you know. So having Capricorn in the 5th house and Mars being in there. Okay, I want to say, because you were Virgo rising, I want to say this. First of all, Virgo rising, Virgo anything similar to Capricorn, very controlling and somewhat microaggressive. But I feel like in dating relationships, you personally, having a Virgo rising, personally, you're like that. Your personality is very reserved, but also like kind of micromanagey. But you also like that in romantic relationships, but a lot more aggressive because Mars is in the 5th house. And even though, yes, like, you're very determined to, like, how do I say this? Mars and Capricorn in the 5th house. You guys are like, it's like you have a hard time. Yes, you have a hard time letting loose in romantic relationships because you get very serious very quickly. And you get very, like, you start planning how you want the dating situation to be, right? And then when people aren't necessarily following the exact way that you want it to be, you get aggressive and you get angry, right? And then, even though, yes, like, it's like you're passionate about the things that you enjoy, right? You're passionate about dating. And then you get very serious about dating, but it's like you get angry when other people aren't as serious as you about that date. You know, like, you take, if I say, okay, we're gonna meet up for a date, we're gonna go mini golfing, and we're gonna meet at 3 p.m. If I show up like 10 minutes late, you might be really pissed off at that. You know, like, you just get pissed off at shit like that, you know, because you take dating really seriously. And you probably do this face like, what took you so long? What? You said we're gonna be here at 3. Why did you show up at 3:10? You're 10 minutes late. Why? And also because Pluto has been transiting your 5th house, you know, so a lot of darkness in your relationships. So it's also been a time for you where, like, relationships have been kind of iffy for you, but then you're just there like, don't do that again, okay? Psycho. Even the dudes, bruh. Dudes just do that in their own whatever way. Whatever, you know. In whatever relationship, whether you're gay or not gay, you're like that, and you've been like that, you know. So I think for now, you're also probably ready to just chill out on relationships, and maybe even focus on like let's say you enjoy playing guitar, you know. So then you probably find some way to make money off of playing your guitar. So then you get really passionate about playing your guitar, learning the guitar, you know, get passionate about booking yourself into gigs so that you can play. And then you get really angry when you're not booked into those gigs, or you get angry when those gigs don't want to pay you, because you're not like an Aries where you'll do something for free just for the passion of it. You'll get angry when somebody wants to use your talents, because also 5th house rules talents. You'll get angry when somebody wants to use your talents and then not pay the fee, period. You know, yeah. But what else? Also, I feel like, because, you know, Mars is in the 5th house. 5th house also deals with hookup culture. So you could also really be passionate about hooking up with people, you know, having fun, having lots of sex, and you're really good at that too. Excuse me. You know, really good at fucking. Yeah. Yeah. That's the vibe. But anyway, let's move on. What did I say? Oh, what makes you angry? I guess people who just don't appreciate your talents in the magnitude that you want them to, which would be in the form of income or, you know, making you famous type shit. You wouldn't want to perform for free. even though you are passionate about learning about, like, if you play guitar, you really are passionate about practicing every day. You practice every day, every day, every day, every day. And I think it makes you angry when other people have a dream and a goal, and they have a talent, but they're not using anything. Like, they're not doing anything to get money off of that. So then you would be the type to be like, okay, let me capitalize off of this talented person. So even though you know how to manage people, like, if, for example, let's say I can sing, and you heard me sing in the shower, you'd be like, dude, why don't you go sing? And then you'll start planning, like, dude, sing, practice every day. You'll start creating a schedule for me, without even considering if I want to do it. Because you're like that. You won't even ask, and you'll just be like, dude, listen, obviously maybe you might, but you'll probably want to convince me to, like, dude, you should probably sing. Let's do this. You should do this. Let's do it like this. Da 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 da. Let's organize things, and then make it happen so that you can eat and you can benefit off of somebody else. Otherwise, you'll just benefit off of yourself, that type of thing. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to Mars and Capricorn in the 6th house for Leo risings. Okay, yeah. So Mars and Capricorn in the 6th house, Leo risings. This is the dude I was telling you about. Lavender dude, he has this placement. Mars and Capricorn in the 6th house, and his moon is also in the 6th house too. So, okay, so how this works out is you're very passionate about working out, because Lavender, now he's been working out on his body, and he's so fine. Oh, he's so fine. My God, he's so beautiful. But I think before that, also because Pluto was transiting through his 6th house, so this also applies for you guys, where you guys were just going through a phase where you didn't really take care of your body. You were smoking a lot, drinking a lot, not taking care of your body, not drinking enough water, not eating your fruits and vegetables, smoking a lot, drinking a lot, and then there comes a point where you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm getting sick, because Saturn is also here, so it could also restrict your body. And the period where Saturn was transiting through Saturn, and then it was in your 6th house, you were probably experiencing that health issues, serious health issues, and chaos in your schedule, because Pluto and Mars being in your 6th house, being all up in your 6th house, because Pluto is transiting through there now. Lots of changes and transformations in your body, so you could get ill quickly. Depending if you're angry, like when you get super angry, it like affects your stomach. You probably get stomach ulcers, or you're probably the type of person that can't even eat spicy foods anymore because it fucks up your stomach. Because it's hot. Spicy food is, I would assume, ruled by Mars. This is why I assume a lot of fire signs don't like. The fire sign family members that I have don't like spicy food. I've noticed that. Obviously, not all of you guys. But I've noticed that they don't like spicy foods. But I would assume it's because of that Mars energy, because it's hot. And sometimes, heat transforms. So having an overabundance of transforming things, too much of anything can be bad. So if you eat too many hot things, it fucks up your stomach, fucks up your metabolism, and then you can't eat anything. You have to go to the hospital, and you can only eat like yogurt and custard and shit, or things that don't have too much acid or spice. Could be like that, But having Mars and Capricorn in the 6th house, generally, yeah, you guys need to check your anger, because it really will fuck up with your bowel movement, all of that, But you're very passionate about working. Like, this makes you even more passionate about working. Makes you, especially if you have a job, you're so passionate about following with your routine. Like, men and women with this, you guys love having routine. Like, you guys love having a simple life. You're passionate about your simple life, and you get really mad when Aquarius, Aries, Gemini type people come, and they kind of want to, or Sagittarius people come and they shift you out of your routine, or they come with their spontaneity, because it doesn't make you feel stable. And you're passionate about stabilizing your life, and you guys like helping other people stabilize themselves. You could also be really you probably has to be the babysitter. Like, you were the type of person where you had to grow up really quickly, especially if you have the shit conjuncting your Saturn. Like, if you were born with the Saturn in Capricorn conjuncting your Mars, Like you had to quickly learn to take on responsibilities. But you're the type, like, you know, we were at school and then they were like those rebellious kids who were like, guys, I'm so sick and tired of school. Like, you probably love school. Like, you love the routine of waking up, showering, knowing you have to do these things, have to wear a uniform. Like, everything is already planned out for you. Like, you love that type of shit. Like, you're not like these Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries out there where they hate routine. Aquarius is where they hate the routines and they want to do anything else but follow the same system every day. That drives them crazy. Like, you love that because it makes you feel stable and calm, you know. And then you hate when people put you out of that. Like, you hate spontaneity. But because Pluto has been transiting, you've probably been experiencing that unexpected transit, and that's been making you feel uneasy, which therefore made you feel angry, which also therefore affected your body. May not be drastic, could have been small ways. Maybe you know, before, like, you get angry, so you get stomach pains, you take a painkiller, it could be done. Some people it was super chill, other people it was probably more drastic, you know. But yeah, bro, just check out your health. Like, I would also, it's exercising, so then you have like a really good outlet for your Mars, like doing lots of ab workouts, you know, squats, shit like that. I don't know, just work out, go to the gym, jog, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but doing anything for your bowel movement, drinking water, smoothies, green smoothies, green juices, spinach, eating your greens, eating your kales, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would even say like making money made you physically feel better. But obviously, like, you can afford doing things because money can buy you a whole bunch of things. Money can buy you health, you know. But like, you don't have to pay to go to the gym to take a jog. You just jog in your neighborhood, depending on if it's a safe environment. Also, I don't know your life, but I'm just saying, take care of your health. You know what I'm saying with this placement? Take care of your health. Anyway, we're going over. I think this is gonna be the longest video I've had so far. Anyway, though, okay, yeah. So having Mars and Capricorn in the 7th house now for Cancer risings. Mars debilitated here. Mars hates the 7th house. So you have hectic situations. People with Mars and Capricorn in the 7th house, not only are you you see what I was talking about with Mars and Capricorn in the 4th house with their parents who were narcissistic and they were controlling. You attract these kind of people. You are maybe you are the one that becomes like that when you're in relationships, because you're Cancer rising, so maybe naturally, like, you're very nurturing and soft, but as soon as you get into a relationship, you switch, or maybe you attract people like this. But I feel like usually, because it's a feminine sign. Capricorn's a feminine sign, so maybe you attract. Feminine signs attract, they receive. So maybe you're the one attracting these narcissistic types. You attract super cold people who are extremely controlling. Listen, you attract cold, or maybe it's a situation where if it's not being done to you, you do it also, you know. But okay, just I'm gonna say this, but take it in the sense that, oh, either it's being done to me or I'm the one doing this. So you attract people who are super cold, super controlling, and like domineeringly controlling. People who are damn near abusively controlling, also abusive, narcissistic, abusive, rigid, you know, stubborn motherfuckers who are emotionless, you know, and who have narcissistic traits, you know, psychopathic traits where they don't really feel. They pretend to care about how you feel, but essentially they just care about having their own plans accomplished. They only care about having their will done, having their needs met, and they get it aggressively. They want what they want, and they get it aggressively without your consent, without asking you if you're comfortable with it, without asking you if you feel okay with it. They just take from you. These are the type of people that you've probably attracted in your life, and the people that you are probably attracted to, even if they're attractive, you just like these type of people, you know. But maybe on the lighter side, you just attract people who are assertive, people who just have a plan. You like when people have a plan, you know. You like when people are organized. You attract organized people, but you may even attract obsessively organized people, because with Cancer risings, Pluto has been in your 7th house for a while. So either A, you've been attracting super passionate, intense relationships with people who are super intense, super domineering, authoritative authoritative, you know. Or maybe you've been attracting people who are in positions of power, like people who are working in the government, you know. Or maybe even people who are corrupt, like some gangster type shit. Like you attract gangsters type shit, you know. Especially because this transit Pluto has been in your 7th house, and if you have it in Mars, then you've been going through the most, and it's probably been making you feel like you don't want to date ever again. But I'm here to tell you, it gets better. Hold my hand, baby. I got you. It's gonna get fine. Pluto's gonna go into Aquarius in your 8th house, so now you're gonna feel that personal power. You're gonna be in your own personal power. You're gonna realize that, okay, I have to be in control of my own life, you know. But anyway, that's the vibe with you guys. You guys attract these people, and your relationships are just intense. Or maybe you like that because you have Scorpio in the 5th house, so maybe you enjoy the intensity. You damn near may enjoy the intensity, because I know Cancer risings actually secretly really mean because of that Scorpio 5th house. So you guys you like being mean, you like the drama, you like the smoke, you like the emotional intensity, you enjoy that. So maybe you like that. I'm out here talking to you like, oh, this is horrible, but maybe you like that. Maybe you really, 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 really like that, because it made you feel a whole bunch of things, you know. I don't know, but you'll let me know. Comment down, let me know how it was for you. But these are the type of people that you attract. These are the kind of people that you attract. Just overly domineering people who just take care of business, you know, period. And yeah, even when you get into partnerships, associates, you get into partnerships and associates with people who are authoritative, people who are sure of themselves, people who don't let their emotions get in the way of taking care of business, you know, very business orientated people kind of shit, period. Okay, anyway, now moving on to Mars and Capricorn in the 8th house, right? So 8th house, what? 8th house is your deep dark secrets, your deep dark desires, you know, your inheritance, things that you've inherited from your family members, shared assets, you know, or shared things that you share when you're in relationships. When you get intimate with people, you know, you share things. When you're with your best friend, you guys share clothes. You're dating someone, you share everything, you know, because it's 8th house type shit. But yeah, also really deep, dark, personal shit. How you transform, you know, how you are in times of crisis. That's 8th house type shit. Yeah, and then having Mars in Capricorn in the 8th house, I feel like it's a really good placement for Gemini risings. This is a really good placement, and for a while, a lot of the Gemini risings, because Pluto has been transiting through your 8th house, so I feel like you guys have known how to organize. Like, okay, in times of crisis, you guys are very, what's the word? You're organized. You are, yeah, you're on top of it. Like, you're domineering. Like, you know how to take control of the situation. Times of crisis, you know how to like take control of the situation, and you know, not show that you're two-phased, kind of move on quickly. But I feel like because Mars is here, like, for a while, it's because Pluto and Mars have been in your 8th house. Gemini risings, really nice. You guys have been learning to transform yourselves. Like, I'm thinking of Willow Smith now. Even though Willow Smith doesn't have a Mars in Capricorn, but she has a Gemini rising, and she's been having Pluto transit her 8th house. But just think of her transformation, like, and her interviews and how she is now, you know, like, just think of like when she started making music and she came out with I'm me, I'm free, and that's all I can be. And then she made her first album, Ardipithecus, and then she made her second album, I think her album is Willow. The one with, it was Ardipithecus. Yeah, the one where she was wearing the hat, and then she had the song, Israel, please finish your story. That one. And then she made the other one with damn, I forgot her album names, with Samo is now falling towards the ground. And then she made the other album with Tyler, her her best friend, and then now she made her other rock album, and then she's making another rock album. Just think of that transformation. Like, I feel like you guys have been going through a similar internal, but it's internal, like an internal transformation, you know. But I don't know about her house lords. She has 8 Capricorn Taurus. She has the 8th house lord in the 12th house. Okay, but anyway, a whole different chat. But just think about like the internal, her transformation. But that also could just because she's a Gemini rising, and she's a Scorpio sun too. And she also she would have her moon conjuncting Pluto at this time. But still, with you guys, like, you just have, like, with having Mars in Capricorn in the 8th house, but also now because it's been conjuncting Pluto, and it's all been in the 8th house, lots of transformations in your personal life. Like, internally, you've been transforming so much, you know, having to face your own internal frustrations and internal demons and internal restrictions as well, because Saturn would be in your 8th house as well, you know, because Capricorn rules there. But having these internal frustrations, like having to realize that, oh my god, I have to take charge of, and I have to protect myself, I have to do all these things, you know. Like, yes, your sex drive on 1,000, sex drive is on crazy, on stupid, you know what I'm saying? But like you know, like, these are things that your whole life you've learned that, like, okay, if I want something to happen, I have to make it happen. But also, I feel like with this, it's easy for you guys to read intentions, and I don't think Capricorn placements get the rep of knowing how to, like, read people's intentions and know that when people are lying on or not lying, just because, like, you know, like, nobody cares to learn about Capricorns because they seem really dry and, like, boring, you know. But I feel like you guys, just like Scorpio, and obviously because Capricorn is exalted in Mars, and Mars rules over intentions, like, and because you would have that in the 8th house, it is so easy for you to read people's intentions. But I think on the more selfish side, like, you know how to flip the script and be like, oh, okay, you want this from me, well, I want that, you know. You know how to do that, you know how to flip shit, because you're Gemini rising too, so you know how to talk your way in and out of things, you know how to read people's words, their mouth, look at their mouth, how they speak, analyze the situation, you know. But you do that also because of that exaltation, and it's also because it's in the 8th house. Your Mars is in the 8th house, you know. But also with this, I feel like it makes you even more controlling. I feel like with the women, like, this is the dom femme. This is the dominant femme in the lesbian community, my dear friends. And, you know, she has a Gemini rising, so she has a mouth on her, so she knows how to be really sassy, but she also knows how to and make it up, just like a Sagittarius Mars and a Scorpio Mars and even a Leo Mars. No, yeah, whatever. But yeah, most of the time you guys just deal with a lot of heavy transformations, but all of these transformations just teach you to be a lot more. They just teach you to own your own personal power. That's pretty much it, you know, period. Anyway, moving on to Mars and Capricorn in the 9th house, right? So 9th house represents, you know, higher education, how you view the world on a broad philosophical level, how you the way in which you perceive the wisdom that you have, the way in which you, like, receive wisdom, or not really receive, but the way in that you learn, let me say that, how you learn wisdom from other people, and the wisdom that you've gained through the experiences that you've had, through the church or the spiritual practices that you've had. You just even like, practicing shit is an experience, you know, but let's just say experiences on every level. But also it rules, you know, university, you know, 9th house rules over universities, college, because that's higher education, and overseas travel, learning about other people's culture, other people's ethnicities. 9th house rules over ethnicities, or not, maybe not 9th house, let's say the sign of Sagittarius rules over ethnicities, you know. It rules over cultures, different cultures. It rules over, like, yeah, ethnicities, cultures, traditions. So having Mars and Capricorn in the 9th house This makes you a rigid person, like with your Taurus rising. So you very stubborn, like you very stubborn about your beliefs, and it's like the beliefs that you've had since childhood, they still stick with you. You're the type of person, like if you grew up Christian, you stay Christian, and you don't like, because like a lot of us, we were born Christian and then we just got out of it, because you know, you know, you know you just grow out of it, and then you're like, wait a minute, and then you kind of evaluate shit for yourself, and then you figure out how you want to spiritually connect with God. Use your own terminologies to describe your experiences, your spiritual experiences, without having a religion like show you or tell you how to do things. Like Mars, other people do that, but not you guys. You guys, you stick with that routine, like you stick with that religion, and you hate it. It grinds your girls. You TikTok, you know what really grinds my girl? It grinds your girls when people kind of like, it makes you feel like, oh, like you're not loyal to what was taught to you when you were young. Like that's how you feel to other people who switch spiritual practices. Like you kind of feel like, ugh, wow, and then you hate when other people don't have the same spiritual beliefs as you, because you like, how Jehovah Witnesses are, they kind of like knock on your door and they impose their beliefs on you. You guys are the same, especially in those conversations. Like if you are a Jehovah Witness with this, or of a Jehovah Witness, you might even think they might have this placement, Mars and Capricorn in the ninth house. I mean, where they're extremely passionate about their spiritual practices. But also, it could be a thing of, it may not even just be with spiritual practices. They could be really passionate about their universe, like being in university and having a routine around studying and classes. If they're in medicine, like they're super passionate about going to class, and they're not one to complain, because they actually really like studying. They really like studying. You guys really like studying whatever it is that you're studying in university. You like the routine around waking up, doing your assignments, blah, 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 And then you can't stand when other people, like, you'll feel like, oh my God, you're not even working hard. Like, you're wasting your parents' money. Why the fuck are you not working hard? Like, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Like, you're that person, because you don't take your education for granted, and you also don't take your spirituality for granted either, and for you that goes hand in hand too, because I don't, you could be atheist with this, you totally could be, and then you'd be hyper fixated on like your what's this, your practices for, not practices, your studies for school. But if you are spiritual, and I mean like you're here because you probably would be spiritual, but like, yeah, you're just somebody that you don't like switching. You're very fixated and grounded in the spiritual practice that you have cultivated for yourself, or that have been taught to you from a young age, and you don't have any desire to change them. Dun dun dun. Period. And that's that. But anyway, that's that. But anyway, having Mars and Capricorn in the 10th house for all the Aries risings, so you have a double emphasis now, which is really nice. So Mars is in Capricorn, exaltation, but then it's also in the 10th house, bigger exaltation. So you are somebody who's extremely goal orientated. You are super ambitious, and you hate being around other people who aren't ambitious, because I feel like for you also, especially if you have Virgo placements, your way of helping people is to help them accomplish their goals. And you're like, like I think Drake said this, or whoever said this, to surround yourself with other ambitious people, so that when you talk about your goals, you don't sound like you're bragging. Like, you're that type of person. You have a lot of ambition, and every day, like, your life goal is to work on that. You just love working on your long-term goals every day, grinding. You love grind, like, you love the hustle. You love even the challenges of, like, the hardships of getting to your goals. Like, you're the type of person that doesn't want anything to come easy, especially dudes. I feel like females different. You would like working towards something, and also you would like the hardships, but I feel like you would want to have the support of your partners, like your partnerships, your boyfriend, girlfriend. Do you know what I'm saying? Your friends, whatever. to kind of help you with the load. But even if it's not them, like even if you're just by yourself, like you would also appreciate the hustle of knowing like, oh my god, I was broke, I had nothing, and I worked my way all the way up, and now I have everything that I want, and I'm living the luxurious life that I want to have, But it's also a thing of like, because you're like that, you can become like a Leo in that type of way, where you become a diva and you have this thing of like, no one can touch me, I'm the one that's gonna dictate everything about my life. And like, sometimes you may not allow other people to, I guess, like if you offer somebody advice, you don't want to hear them complain about specific things, especially if you told them, hey, you have to work hard, like Pitbull's speech, because he's a Capricorn sun and moon. He'd be like, people always complain to me about whatever, but I tell them it's life. Like, you don't like people who complain. You get really irritated and icky around people who complain about shit, because you're probably somebody who can take on a lot of pain and a lot of issues, and you don't like when people complain too much. Obviously it'll depend. Like if you have a Pisces sun, you'll be a lot more compassionate, or a Pisces moon, you'll be very much compassionate, super compassionate, a lot more compassionate. But if you have like a Scorpio moon, Cancer moon, maybe Cancer moon, depends, but Scorpio moon, like you're probably the type of person to be like, bro, you just have to go through it. You don't like whine, like Aries type people, because Aries like to whine. Aries love to complain. Even Cancers, they love complaining. You hate it because you don't complain. You just go, you do it, and you do it until you get it right, and you do it until it's done. And you don't like people who don't have that same mentality, but you get turned on with people who have that same mentality, who have that drive, who have that goal, who have that strong willpower. Like, I'm sure people, that saying that's like, get rich or die trying, by fucking 50 Cent. I don't know 50 Cent's chart. I know he's a Gemini moon. I think he's a Cancer sun, Leo sun maybe. But get rich or die trying, that's your motto also. That's your motto, because you really about that, bro. And it could even be small goals. It's just like, you like having your life planned, your day planned. You like planning life. You don't like living spontaneously. Obviously it depends, because you might be a Sagittarius sun as well, Sagittarius moon, so you like a bit of spontaneity. But even in your quest, like, you are determined to travel. You'll be determined to do a whole bunch of things. You're determined to travel. You're determined to try different ethnic foods. You're determined to study. You know what I'm saying? You're in a relationship. You're determined to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're having fun. You're determined to have as much fun as possible. You helping your family out. You're determined to plan out the best family trip. Like, you are determined. You have determination. God damn. And it's also inspiring too. It's just like, you could sometimes, like, with that determination, you can sometimes lose sight of why you were doing something. Like, because you could have like you could be like, okay, I want to be a lawyer because I really enjoy this, and then along the line you kind of lose you lose not the intention, the purpose, the higher purpose of why you wanted to do this, and then it just kind of turns into you being overly obsessed, which is you're passionate about just having the status of it. Like, you don't care how you got it, because this could make you a business shark, no cap. Make you a business shark, make you someone who's very cutthroat, someone who's very mean as well, especially now because Pluto has been transiting your 10th house. It can be very mean, intimidating, sharp, very cutthroat in business, so. But it's also just because you want to get to the business, like, you want to get straight to the point. You want to cut the bullshit. Being around Gemini, Aries type people, too playful, not very serious about their life, because you're very serious about everything. But those people could teach you to chill out, because at the end of the day, it's not that deep. Do you know what I'm saying? It's really not that. It's deep, but it's not that deep, because at any moment God can take all of that away, and what do you have? Have some inner joy, have some inner love, like, have some fun, my nigga. Damn, like, fuck. Anyway, with that being said, we're gonna move on now. So having Mars and Capricorn in the 11th house, okay, having Mars and Capricorn in the 11th house, so Pluto has also been transiting through your 11th house, and also having Mars in the 11th house, and having it in Capricorn. So you are what is Pisces rising? Rising Capricorn. Yeah, Pisces. No. Yeah, Pisces rising. So you have been experiencing in your whole life, having Mars in the 11th house, your friend groups change in and out. Either because they feel like, either because the friend groups that you've attracted in the past have been very domineering, like lots of ego issues, ego battles in your relationships, lots of people in the group that want to dictate use you, they want to use you. Probably been attracting user friends, that's for sure. Friends who didn't really give a fuck about you because you're Pisces rising, so you already look super artsy and you already look like you can draw and whatever. So maybe the friends that you've attracted have been usy in the sense that, like, let's say maybe you are friends, or you're like the type of person that a lot of people know, or let's say you have a specific talent, you can paint or you can cook, whatever, you're into forex. So then you attract the type of people who they're not friends with you because they genuinely care about you and they want to be a friend. They're just using you for whatever assets that you have at the moment that they can use and take for themselves. So in that sense, you've transformed friendships. Like, you've gone into one group, out of that group, gone into another group, out of that group, because of all these power and control dynamics. Also because I said Pluto has been transiting your 11th house too. So these power dynamics, these power shifts, and it's just been making you feel like, well, damn, like, am I ever gonna have like a real set group of friends? Because it makes you feel like, well, damn, will I ever have friends? Like, and then it kind of also makes you feel like, well, do I ever want friends? Also because then you would have Uranus in the 3rd house. Oh baby, sweetie. Yeah, no, I get that. No, it's been rough for you. Pisces rising, all the water risings, actually. All the water risings, I feel that it's been hectic. You've been questioning your friends' motives and shit, and kind of also putting them through tests, like, are you actually friends with me for real? And then it would be really heartbreaking for you to find out that the people that claim to be your friends are only there because there's a specific motive that they want to have and accomplish or take for themselves, and not really just be there for you. So it makes you kind of feel like, fuck, well, damn. And if you also have if you were born with Chiron, because I know these would be the generation, like, not generation, people born in like 2002, I think 2001, maybe late 2001, 2002, who would have Chiron and Capricorn. So then if you have this conjuncting, like the transit now with Pluto, yeah, complete issue. Like, it makes you a loner. You've probably been a loner your whole life, and you're okay with that, because then you probably friends with your family members, because then you have Gemini in your 4th house. So then your family members become your friends, which is a lot more safe, which is a reason why you may not trust strangers anymore now, but that's good for you. That's your experience. Not all these strangers are out here, because it could be a situation where, like, even like the groups that you're studying in, like wherever you work at, and you have to work group projects like this, you experience those situations where people will sell each other and throw each other under the bus just so that they can rise above it all and they can succeed. So then it makes you feel like, I don't want to be in these spaces because I just don't feel like anybody values each other. And it's like that, dude. The world is kind of fucked up. It's really kind of fucked up. It's cool, but it's kind of fucked up. But at least you have a lot of family members, and you find your family members family. You make them family, which is great for you. So anyway, with that being said, last but not least, Mars in Capricorn in the 12th house for all my Aquarius rising gang, alien rising babies. So also Pluto has been transiting through our 12th house. Yeah. Okay. So with Mars and Pluto transiting through your 12th house, though, damn, I want to say your dreams have been crazy violent. Even having like some, like, it could be super like paranormal type dreams. Your dreams can be scary, like lots of nightmares, or it could just be super violent dreams, but also I know, because I've been experiencing this, like issues with like wanting to escape, because Pluto makes you do things in excess. So there's probably been moments where you were like, oh my god, okay, damn, like I just want to smoke, I just want to get high every day. And then you realize, because 12th house is opposite the 6th house, and you realize, okay, I'm too much in the 12th house, because you do it aggressively. Like, if you get high exponentially, like ferociously. You know what I'm saying? When you get drunk, you do it in excess. you know. And also because I know having Capricorn in the 12th house, it just kind of makes you fearful, but it also sometimes blocks, like you will really be passionate about a project, and then you'll feel like, oh my god, it's not happening fast enough. And once again, going back to the but my peers, they're so ahead in their career, and then it just makes you sad. And then like and then you see Aquarius rising, we have Taurus in our 4th house, so we just don't even want to get out of bed because it's so comfortable. I don't know, other people don't have Taurus in the 4th house. They might have Aries in the 4th house, or they might have Gemini in the 4th house, depends, whatever. But archetypically Aquarius rising will have Taurus in the 4th house. So if you are those people, if you're not, get a reading from me and we can see what's going on. But yeah, archetypically Taurus in the 4th house, you just want to escape into your 4th house, into your warm, comfortable bed, and just escape the world and be lazy and chill and let your house and your home take care of you, because there's food at home. There's a whole bunch of food at home. There's just nice things at home, and just get away from that 12th house. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But having Mars and Capricorn in the 12th house, I feel like, as I say, you definitely the aggressive drinker, or when you get drunk, you get very aggressive or overly domineering, overly bossy. You get super angry and start shouting at everybody, but also I feel like there's a specific fear that comes with Saturn in the 12th house, Capricorn in the 12th house, and with Mars and Pluto being transiting there. Kind of sometimes like you can be afraid of accomplishing your own goals. You're afraid of actually seeing your goals through, and then you're afraid of the transformation that'll come with that. But like I said, having Pluto there, I think maybe you would have to overcome that. But there is an element of being afraid, like you're scared of succeeding, you're scared of, and you have like this insatiable quench to succeed and like really see everything that you want happen, because you also have Scorpio in your 10th house. We have Scorpio in our 10th house, so when we obsess over a goal, we get really obsessed. But it's also like sometimes we can lose sight of why we're doing it. Because like right now, I could be like, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel and talk about astrology because I want to educate people. But then that insatiable quest to just succeed, it takes over the reason as to why I'm doing it. So now I just want to succeed. I just want to reap the benefits of being famous or being successful, and then that overtakes you. And then when it doesn't happen quick enough, it just makes you feel sad, and then you sulk. And then that's when you isolate, because Aquarius rising, we just tend to isolate. And having Mars here, it just, when you do isolate, you become very aggressive, and then you just have all these negative aggressive thoughts. And then you also think about everything bad that's ever happened to you in your life, and then you start having dreams about everything, like dreams that reflect how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And then you just, you get so angry. You're so fucking angry when you're alone. You're so angry at everything that's ever happened to you. Angry at like how pathetic you've been in your life. Because you'll feel that like you're really being mean to yourself. You'll feel that. You just go through all these transformations, but sometimes it changes, obviously, because Pluto would be there. So you have different dreams. Your dreams transform. Your illusions, they break, and then new illusions come and they go. But as far as talents, yeah, I know this myself because I'm an Aquarius rising too, and just like something always prevent. But I think it's just our own, because Saturn is in our 12th house, so it's like a restriction in our own beliefs. So it's hard for us to have faith sometimes. It's hard for us to hold in on faith because we need to see it happen right now, like in real time. And if we've been working for a year and we still don't see these fucking benefits being reaped, it's like, well, fuck, bro, I don't want it no more. Like, what am I doing? I'm just wasting my time. I'm just wasting my time. What is going on? And then it kind of makes you want to like give up on shit. But I think because you would have Mars conjuncting Pluto, you don't give up on shit. You just get super angry at the world and be like, why the fuck does Jenna Ortega succeed but I'm still here? Why? And then still go work on it. You know what I'm saying? But just trust that it will come. Like everything that you're doing is gonna, in the end, it's gonna be worth it. I know sometimes it's hard to really like make yourself believe that, because your internal monologue is like so mean, really mean. It's so mean, especially you have like a Scorpio Mercury, Virgo Mercury, or like shit. Aries Mercury. Libra Mercury different. Yeah, but it's Sag Mercury, because then, yeah, if you were born in my generation, then it would conjunct your Pluto, but whatever. But just trust it will work out. All the things that you're working hard for, they're gonna come, and you're gonna reap the benefits. And whatever it is that you want to happen, it'll happen to you even more, especially after our Saturn return. If you've already had your Saturn return, you're probably already reaping the benefits of all your hard work. Just trust that it will. Remind yourself, because I know with Capricorn, even write it down, because at least if you see it happen, if you see yourself write down and you see it on a piece of paper, then it'll sink itself in your subconscious, and then Saturn will somehow melt a little bit more, and then by the time your Saturn return comes, boom. And I'm also speaking to myself. I have like 6-7 more years till my Saturn return, so I'll get you. We in this together. Hold my hand. Hold my hand, baby. We're in this together. You and me and you, walking through the valleys of the shadow of death. Yeah. What's that song on TikTok? Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you. But anyway, guys, I'm done. This video is over. I've exceeded 2 hours of talking. Holy fuck. Okay, anyway, I'll see you in my next video, which will be really soon, because I'm going to finish with the series this coming week. And that's all for me. Get a reading if you want a reading. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Kisses. Bye.